Climate change is kind of a difficult one to weigh in on because it's really more than just the climate changing, right? It's how people perceive themselves, right? So human beings, we all do this to an extent. In our own minds, we are all like very important, right? You have to have that in order to continue to live on this planet. You have to consider yourself somewhat valuable. If you don't, if that stops, you will wither away very quickly. Now, what does that have to do with climate change? Well, everything. Because as people, we tend to think that we can do more than we really can. This is evident in our movies. This is evident in our culture, particularly in Americans. Particularly in America. Americans in the 1950s and 60s thought that by the year 2000 we'd have flying cars, we would have moon bases, we'd live on Mars, blah, 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 blah. I mean, like, if you go back and watch old 50s and 60s TV shows, I mean, like, people really thought this was going to happen, right? Like, they really thought this. Just like there's a bunch of people right now that think that Elon Musk is going to put them on Mars and they're all going to live there, you know, Quado style. It's not going to happen. I mean, the math doesn't support this. I mean, this is physics talking here, okay? The math doesn't support it. Inside of every human being is the real you, whoever you are. You are an energetic being. You inhabit a form on this planet, okay? And an avatar as such, okay? And I'm not trying to get all philosophical here. I'm not trying to get like too far into the new age. I'm pointing out that there is some reality to this. People tend to think a bit more of themselves than what they're capable of. And when it comes to climate change, for example, if the Earth, I will tell you this, all of you people out there who believe in climate change and who believe that it's all anthropogenic, I think that's the word, man-made. If Earth ever wants to get rid of human beings, it'd take about 10 minutes. Seriously, 10 minutes. Not some Jerry Bruckheimer, you know, summer blockbuster nonsense where the end of the world takes, you know, 45 minutes. Like, come on, no. About 10 minutes of sheer panic and terror, and it's over for all of humanity, all over the world. About 5 or 6 tectonic shifts at one time, poof, gone. A handful, maybe, you know, maybe a couple thousand human beings all over the world might survive such a thing. Maybe. All of that history gone. All of the information gone. All of this gone. Look up Randall Carlson for more on this. You know, I mean, this is someone, I mean, you know, whether I agree or disagree with everything Randall Carlson brings up, he brings up some valid points, and they are worth listening to. So, to suggest that human beings are somehow causing all of this and that it's going to be horrible for the future, you know, and what about our children? Well, first of all, most of you aren't even having kids, so what do you give a shit? I mean, let's be real here. You know, I'm not trying to be mean, but I mean, dude, if you're like a 50-year-old woman and you're worried about your children and you don't have any children, dude, you kind of missed that boat, biologically speaking. So, not to be a dick about it, but it's the fucking truth, okay? So, like, but people tend to think like this. Now, because of that, you have a group of other people that are very smart, they're very clever, right? And they exploit that for profit. Give us money and we'll save you from the sun god. It is the same shit, different millennium. SSDM. This has always been a thing. It's always been, oh my God, we're responsible for our destruction. Quick, give us a bunch of money and we'll somehow figure this out. Throughout all of history, things like this, end of the world prophecies, religions, you name it, they have exploited this type of fear and panic that people have because people legitimately are concerned, right? They see a natural disaster, like a big storm that comes by. And this is, I mean, I'm in Houston. I mean, like, dude, I mean, big storms are like, you know, we just went through one, right? And it reminds human beings just how insignificant you actually are, right? Again, tectonically speaking and cosmically speaking, you know, your lifespan is nothing. It wouldn't even register, okay? When you truly understand deep time, okay, that, 150 to 200,000 years of Earth time is nothing, cosmically speaking. It's a blip, okay? I think it's hard for a lot of us to really process. I mean, the human brain isn't really designed to process stuff that big. It's like processing the unaliving of like 1 million people. Human brain can't really process stuff like that. That's why you have to have, for example, that's why stories generally create your protagonist or antagonist, and they let you live that through the eyes of 1 or 2 people, because you can relate to that. The audience can connect with that. The audience can't connect with 1 million, 2 million people. It's why Stalin correctly said that one person, one man being unalived is a tragedy. 1 million being unalived is a statistic. He's right about that. As it pertains to what I'm talking about here, it's too difficult for people to process that. They can't really think about it. So other people exploit this, and they say things like, well, hey, it's going to, give us a bunch of money, and it turns into just another con. And that's what I think most of this stuff is. The reality is, if you really did care about climate change and you really do want to, reduce your carbon, even though plants breathe CO2, and as someone who used to grow lots of plants myself in a big warehouse with lights and so on, I don't do that anymore, but yeah, you wanted to create CO2. You actually had to have CO2 burners, okay, to create CO2. And that's just reality, because your plants and your trees, they are the lungs of the planet, right? If you want to, in other words, why don't you go plant 3 or 4 or 5 trees or 10 trees rather than try and create 10 laws to force everybody else to try and exist the way that you want them to exist, okay? So, and I'm not talking about like wanton pollution. Most of that comes from like from large entities, and it's usually protected by large government, right? Because, most normal people living their lives, they're not going to create huge amounts of pollution. They don't want to, because we all have neighbors and stuff, and especially the more you know of your people around you, the more you think about them, the less you want to hurt them, right? Because hopefully the less they want to hurt you. So much of this that you're seeing is just a way for them to get your money. I'm talking to people on the left on this one, because a lot of leftists get caught up in this stuff. Because once again, they tend to think that, like, oh my God, we're doing something really horrible. We should stop this. Like, okay, no. You're being used. You're being turned into a tool for giant corporations and giant governments to create a bunch of laws to keep a handful of people rich. Remember, what is the foundation of almost every law on this planet? We're not talking about the laws of physics and laws of conscience. We're not talking about those laws. Okay? Those are the only 2 laws that actually exist on this planet. We're talking about the laws the quote laws that we all kind of know about, that police run around unaliving people over and all that kind of shit over just random bullshit, okay? We're talking about those kinds of laws. Those all come from, the foundation of almost all of them is somebody got rich doing something, and now they need a law to make sure you don't get rich. They can't have that, okay? And that's where all of this shit goes. What do you think there's 80 million plus laws on the books in the U.S.? They don't even know how many laws. We're way past Hammurabi, dude. I mean, we're way past that, okay? So, like, I mean, there's so many laws now, they don't even know how many laws they created. So, yeah, that's how it works. Just like I said before, a long time ago, you know, the religious, you know, somebody shows up with a pig and they go, oh my God, our entire economy is based on goat and mutton. Quick, find something in the religious text that says that pig is evil and we can't eat it. And they set to and they find out, oh my God, yeah, don't eat pig, it's a sin. It's because their economy is based on goat and mutton, and they can't have a pig farmer showing up that produces meat like 4 times faster, because it dilutes their, remember, they stop being rich by contrast. Just keep that in mind. And for all you leftists out there, remember, the foundation of all these crazy ass laws comes from somebody got rich and they want to make sure you can't. I hope that helps.